I forgot to until just I was like, oh shit, I was supposed to come up and all that. So I'm gonna get it together and I'll talk about it because it's much easier than. Yes, you can say
I don't have a marker. You already got a marker?
yeah, she said those are. But she said, look here, I don't like cameras and stuff. I don't like pictures and stuff, you know, because
I was going to ask you if you wanted to, so he's going to be walking around and stuff, so I like the hot. Oh, this is the weather. Yeah. Just sitting I would say you leave it right here. If you had a problem or if you asked for a box, because just imagine if you had it up like this, then it could capture the whole room. People be walking through. Yeah, turn it sideways and see. I mean, like lay it flat. Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. Starting shortly, y'all. I know. All right.
We'll get those. Hey guys, whenever we do the check tonight, so it's not a nightmare for me to get everything right. We're just gonna do last names, if that's okay, we'll just put everybody in, okay? Cool, thank you. All right. You guys?
Sorry, brother, you trying to get away outside?
Welcome. Get ready to get started. Do apologize for the delay, but definitely in for a treat this evening. Well, this evening you're here for the J. Parker Network. Our topic this evening is going to be on real estate marketing tips and strategies. And I just want to know, just by a show of hands, how many people heard about this kind of event via meetup.com? Meetup.com? We're on J. Parker Network website. Okay. What about Facebook? Facebook on the J. Parker Network. How did you hear it? Anybody know any outsider sources? I'm Kay Johnson. So if you're on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter as well, so follow J. Parker Network. Stay tuned so you can see the different workshops that are coming up, as well as different meetups and events. We also have a bowling event that is coming up July 30th. So if you're interested, please log on to Facebook on the J. Parker Network page and click you're going to come. And you're welcome to bring your family and your friends with you.
You have the bumpers down for us?
Oh, and also, how many rising grinders at here? 5:30. There we go. There we go. There we go. We're growing. There we go. Right there. Just so you know, the rising grinders is two of individuals that take up 5:30, Monday through Friday. 5:30. And Saturday at 6 a.m. So we're sleeping a little bit on Saturday. Yeah, they extra 30 minutes help. So we meet in the university side, which is at the JMP's, or the Austin Depot, 5:30 in the morning. We do about 3 or 4 miles walking, jogging, or alternating between the two. So we're out there until about 7 o'clock in the morning. We politic, we have fun, and it's a great time to really build our health as well as our wealth. So that's great. But okay, the man of the hour, I would delay any more announcements, but Mr. Parker, who has been a mentor of mine, he's a friend of yours, he's here, and I'm turn over to him. Mr. Parker, give him a round of applause.
How y'all doing?
All right, all right.
Normally, what we do, we go around the room and everyone introduce themselves. Everyone would introduce themselves and tell them about why they're here and tell them about, why you're here. So make certain that I'm telling you what you want to hear, not that you just hear and don't waste your time. But it's 3 of you tonight, so I'm not going to be able to do that. And actually, what you're witnessing tonight took me 20 plus years to get to this point. 20 years. Okay? So what I'm going to do is share with you how you can do that in less than the 20 years that we're going to talk about tonight. Is marketing. Is that all right? Now, how many of you in here are actually here for wholesale? Okay. You were here for Wholesale with us? Yeah. Okay, I'm sorry to disappoint. Anyone else? No? You were here for Wholesale too? I'll be on you, right? All right. But tonight we're gonna talk about marketing. Now, the website, the meetup, I'm not responsible for that. Somebody else, you can blame somebody else for that mix up with the wholesale. I just don't know how to change it. Okay? I don't know how to change that. All right, we're going to get started. So y'all ready? So let's go. Are y'all ready? So let's go. Catch your seatbelts. We get ready to take off. Okay? And once we get to a comfortable altitude, I I'll turn off the light faster than the seatbelts be ready. Without catching. Very safe. All right, we're going to talk about marketing. One of the questions I want to know, and I need some feedback here. Where are you finding your deals today? Where are you finding your deals? Now, Mouses don't have to worry. Nobody's going to take your ideas.
No.
What's that?
We're not, that's what we're here to find out.
Well, okay.
Marketing is marketing, yeah.
Well, Jack, since you're speaking, where are you finding your deals? How are you finding your deals?
Like the last deal I got made on the contracts, was from real.
From realtors. So multiple listing?
And you did his pocket, they go out there.
Pocket list.
I called him and he called me.
Okay. Okay. Now, so where do you find your deals?
I'm doing all mail.
I'm sorry?
Mail, I'm doing all mail these days.
All mail, okay, specifically. What are you mailing?
Postcard.
Okay, more specifically.
Where are you getting your name?
I'm doing absentee notes.
Absentee owners, okay, absentee owners. Take those, okay, take those. What else? David, where are you getting your deals?
From Molly.
From Molly. Molly, where are you getting your deals?
Craigslist,
Craigslist.
driving around,
Driving around.
the absentee owners.
Okay.
Auctions,
Awesome.
for sale by owner, selling. We kind of learned that we spend all that time in marketing, but the whole purpose of that is just to get you in contact with the seller. So any way we can get in direct contact with the seller, whether Craigslist, for sale by owner, signs, auctions, things like that, those are work well for us.
Okay. All right. Anyone else? Who has something to say, sir? Door knock.
SEO.
What's that?
SEO.
What is that?
Search engine optimization.
I don't know.
That's a computer.
The internet. Right, the internet.
Google with Yahoo, then
How's that work?
it's working.
Do you have this paper that is that?
No, I mean, it's a process. It's not something you pay for, but it's not just something that's gonna happen overnight.
Okay.
For you to be on top of the search engines and everything like that. So like anything, just be diligent and keep at it and you can do what it is.
Okay. All right. So there's that. Who else? Who else is doing something a little different than that?
I'll go to the courthouse and keep a tab on the eviction rates.
Okay. Evictions. So you're following the evictions.
Yeah.
So these are people that have been evicted or being evicted, and so the property owner is a tired property owner, and so therefore gives you a qualified lead.
Yeah, I'm paying, so I don't think so.
Okay. All right. Yes, ma'am.
We were very fortunate to get a good deal. We had 3 billboards, and they were very successful.
Oh, good.
Excuse me, wait, hold on. What do you have with billboard then?
All in Mathis.
What do they say?
Alright.
What's your billboard say?
We buy houses,
We buy ugly houses.
ugly houses, yeah.
Oh, cool.
Let's see, good credit, bad credit, no.
Okay.
And then.
Even in Memphis, you gotta be paying $1,000 a month for it, right?
Not for, that
No.
we pay that for free.
Nice. And you've had it for how many months? The billboards.
We've had it for about a year now.
You're seeing a return on that investment.
Oh, yeah, that's okay.
So they cost you about $1,000 a month, roughly,
For all 3, yeah.
for all 3? Okay.
So you're selling the code you.
Yes.
All right, so there's many different ways of actually doing it. A lot of these ways that they're doing, there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it. So how do you see, tell me your name, I'm sorry.
Barbara.
Barbara, how do you see the market as it relates to the market share as it relates to you and your competition?
I think it depends on where you're looking to focus on. As far as competition, I think I'm finding that a lot of us work as partners versus competition. So I don't run into the problem where I'm having problems with other investors. I think as people establish a contact with us, it grows and you just automatically get the referrals. But I think the market, at least we focus in Kannapolis and Concord area, is very vibrant right now.
Okay, how about you, Audrey? How do you feel about the market share as relates to the competition?
I feel like it's trying to get deals. I mean, you get a lot of people saying that they got other people looking for deals. A lot of people looking for deals. So, I mean, before when I started, we may have been 1 or 2 people, now maybe 20, 30 people going after the same house.
So you think the market share has gotten smaller? It's gotten smaller? Okay. How many of y'all think the market share has gotten smaller? There's a lot of people out there putting out signs. You see more people putting out signs too. Y'all see this? Putting out signs. What's that? Grandma saw that too. What if there's a way? What if there's a way where you can get the advantage even on your competition, where you really don't have competition? What if that's a way? The last 3 deals that I got, they came to me. I haven't sent out postcards probably 2 years. 2 years. And I buy houses all the time. And I get phone calls all the time from different people who have houses and they want to get rid of them.
You can share that anytime.
That's when you have to come to the back of the room. But the point I'm making here is that a lot of people, I got a phone call the other day, someone asked me a question. They said, well, do you think the market is oversaturated? And I said, no, why would you think that? They said, well, everybody's doing it. There are a lot more people doing it today than there were when I got started a while back. But the one thing that most people don't do in this business is think. Most people don't think in this business. And that's what will separate you from the masses. Each and every one of you, once you leave out of here, you're going to be a changed person. You're not going to come in here, or you're not going to be the same as you were when you left. I have an analogy that I like to use, but I'll use it anyway. It's like a pair of underwear. Once it loses elasticity, they never go back the same. My reluctance for using that was a young lady called me the other day, and she said, "Oh, I like the way my panties fit. I like the way my panties." I said, "Oh, we have to try another." But my point is that once you get an idea, now you're able, and you're a different paradigm shift. You're able to expound on it from your personal experience, and no longer is it the same idea. Does everyone follow that? Does that make sense? Okay, so that's what I want to share with you, some different ideas. One of the things, how many in here have a business card? Let me see here. All right, take your business cards out. Everyone's take your business cards out. What we're going to do, we're going to pass your business cards this way. And then you're going to get to see this young lady right here. Even if you don't have a business card, I just want you to observe the business cards, okay? Observe the business card, just one. So just look at it, kind of, recognize the person's name and keep it moving, all right? All right, pass it around. It's okay if you don't have one today. Up here. You need to pass it around quickly without talking. I want you to look at it and pass it on, okay? Look at it and pass it on. All right? And so when you get your last one, or get the one, pass it over here to, give it to James. And James will keep it moving, all right? Until it gets back to, until you get your card back, all right? Okay, here's a question here. Who has an unlimited source of funds in here? Who has all the money they need? Wait. Unlimited source of funds. It can't be a hedge fund. Can't be operating with a hedge fund. Aside from a hedge fund, if you're not operating with a hedge fund. And actually, a hedge fund doesn't have an unlimited source either. All right? So nobody has an unlimited source of resources. Money. Okay? Normally I start the meeting like this. There's 4 ways that I purchase. 4 ways that I purchase.
Does anyone have a secret salad or house salad?
Okay?
And a house salad? House salad with cheese?
No problem. There's 4 ways that I purchase. Owner finance. Subject to. Lease option. And for cash. In that order. In that order. I'll say it again. Owner finance. Subject to. Lease option. And for cash. My sole objective is to build wealth and build it massively. Build wealth and build it massively. Okay? Everyone with me? Is everyone with me?
Yes.
Is the cards being a distraction?
Yes.
If they're taking pictures of the card. So, one of the reasons that I ask that question is because a lot of times, when people get started or want to get started with real estate, they think conventional. 2 major issues that keep most people out of real estate. One is cash, don't have any money. 2 is they don't have credit or they don't have the ability to borrow. Those today are not the reasons to stay out of real estate. Okay? Again, like I said, owner finance, subject to, lease option, and for cash. In that order, on purpose. I purposely buy like that. And my reasoning for pointing that out is because when a lot of you get started, you're not fishing in the right pond. You're not marketing that match your ability. Does everyone follow that? Yes. You see, if you don't have the cash and you don't have credit, you shouldn't be at the auction bidding on properties. Does that make sense? Or you shouldn't be looking at the multiple listing at the properties, the HUD properties and things like that. Okay? Because those are ways that you find property, but they're cash intensive. They're cash intensive, meaning you're gonna have to have cash or you're gonna have to have the ability to give you cash. Does that make sense? Okay, so you shouldn't operate in that perspective. But if it's a situation where you don't have cash, you don't have credit, I think the best way of creating wealth and creating it massively is through owner finance. It's through owner finance. Now, my reason is because I can take a very small amount of money and buy the property and create the terms Let me give you an example. A friend of mine, she found 2 properties and she wanted the properties. And so we were able to locate the borrower. Now also, let me also mention this. When I look for properties, I only look for properties where people have problems. Okay? Where people have problems. See, I walk around, most of you don't know this, but I walk around with a pocket full of Tylenol. I solve problems. See, I want to encourage you guys to hear that. I solve problems. So I know most of you are in here to learn how to buy real estate. Is that right? Is that right? I want to encourage you to stop buying real estate. It's not what I want to hear. Stop buying real estate. Stop buying real estate and start solving problems. When you solve the problems, the real estate becomes the currency in which they pay you for solving the problem. Does that make sense? See, most of you just, when you go to talk to the people, you don't have a prepared presentation, so you don't know what to say. So the first thing you say, you see the sign says $45,000. So when you walk up there, what's the first thing you ask? How much do you want for the property? Because you don't know what to say. Okay? Let's stop buying property. Stop buying it. Start solving problems. See, because you're assuming that they wanted money for it. The last couple houses I bought, they gave to me. That's a wonderful thing, isn't it? They couldn't have found a better person. But the point I'm making here, you find people who really said, hey, I just want to get rid of this house, I don't want it, you can have it. So I said, okay, I'll make it happen. There's no need for me to ask her how much. Solve her problem. I said, I'll have the attorney set up the paperwork. Once the paperwork is set up, I have to give you a call. She said, great. That simple. That simple. How many of you think that's once in a lifetime, right? Once in a lifetime.
How do you, can we ask questions?
Yeah, ask questions.
Okay. The simple version. How do you know what the money is? How do you know what you're getting into? You gotta know that.
What do you mean when you ask that question? I don't understand.
Okay, like, so you're just gonna solve the problem. That's why you were in the house. Well, you need to know how much their loan is for that you're gonna take over.
Yeah.
You know, what payments you're gonna need. You have to research to make sure the numbers all work.
I asked some questions. But this was easy.
Right.
She didn't have a mortgage. So that was really easy. The only thing I had to find out, are there any liens on there? But that's not a factor either. How many people are here concerned about liens, being on properties, title clouded, or things like that? How many of you? Okay, that's fair. That's fair. See, I don't care about that. If you find a property, why, I won't give you that. But if you find a property that has liens on it, give me a call. All right? I help you out with that. All right? And so the liens have a life. Once their life expectancy is over, then it's gone. So that means that the lien is gone. So that clears the title. How about the IRS? Here it is. IRS have a $100 trillion lien against the property. It's been on there for 8 years. Who's interested in the property? Why are you interested in the property?
They might sell.
They might sell for less. Good answer. Who else? Who else? Why are you interested in the property?
They have I believe it's 10 years now.
Absolutely. See, the IRS is no exception. IRS has a 10-year life. So after 10 years and a day, you can get clear title. Does that make sense? But this is not common knowledge. So most people think, oh, the property has an IRS lien against it, I'm not interested. And they just pass it by. Or the property has all these judgments against it. And so they just pass it by. Judgments, same thing, 10 years. They have a 10-year life. So when you're doing a search, yes, do. You can, you absolutely can. The life is 10 years, but they can renew it for an additional 10 years. That comes from an attorney. But you're not the one with days attorney too, so you don't have to feel bad. So after 10 years, they can renew it. I've not seen them do it. I've not seen them do that. Okay? Have you?
No.
10 years in a day, you can get clear title. All right. Has the cards gotten all the way around? A little bit of the card?
A couple times.
Is that okay?
Couple times.
Okay, great. So my point is this. So you need to be fishing in the right ponds. And I'm from Maryland and I grew up near the water. So water is a good affirmation, or not affirmation, but analogy for me. Thank you. It's a good analogy for me. So I'm searching always in ponds that have people that should have properties that are free and clear or near free and clear. Okay, come on.
Mrs. Bellinger?
That is free and clear or near free and clear. See, now, if I'm doing a pre-foreclosure, if I'm looking at a pre-foreclosure, I'm looking for properties that I can take subject to, which is my number 2 way of picking up a property. Now, when I say subject to, some of you may not understand what that means, but subject to means there's a mortgage already on the property. Miss Smith has already gone out and purchased this property, and she has a mortgage on it. Okay. For whatever reason, Miss Smith decides she doesn't want the property anymore. She doesn't want the property anymore, but the mortgage is already in place. So then I just but I just take over Miss Smith's position and continue to make the payments. Does everyone follow that? That's called subject to the existing mortgage. That's my second favorite way of buying property. Now, the reason why I do this is because you get the most leverage for your money. See, because real estate is predicated on the return on investment. Is that right? The return on investment. I was telling you about my friend that bought the 2 properties. She had 2 properties. She found the guy. The guy was in prison. He paid cash for these properties with his self-directed IRA. These properties are free and clear for him. But he's in prison. He's going to do a long time. So he had no need for the properties. So she said that she was interested in the properties. Through his self-directed IRA, he paid $116,000 for one, $120,000 for the second from his self-directed IRA. So she approached him. She asked him. She said, "Hey, I'm interested in the property. This is through mail letter." And so he said he was interested in selling the property. And so she actually bought those properties for $25,000 a piece. $25,000 a piece. Now, she didn't have any money and needed some fix-up. So she didn't have any money. So she said, "Well, what am I going to do?" I said, "Well, why don't you take," because they're right beside each other. I said, "Why don't you take parts from this one to fix this one to lessen your cost?" Does everyone follow that? So she said, "All right, great, I'll do that." So then I said, "Why don't we structure the transaction so that it's at least 6 months out?" So if it's 6 months out before she has to make her first, absolutely. So now she got 6 months to think of how she can come up with the money to continue or finish the repairs. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Now she can go Ubering or whatever to try to get this money. She can wholesale or whatever it takes to get the money to fix this property up. Because I think the property will rent for $950. So as soon as she get it up, the quicker she gets to that $950, the quicker she gets to the $950, the more money she has to put into this property over here. Does everyone follow that? Now, can you do that?
Yes.
Yeah, see, it just takes a little thinking. Does that make sense? Let me give you another example. On subject two, an investor called me. He said, hey, I got this property. I can't do anything with it. The property is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house. The owner somehow called him, or they got in touch with each other, and he wanted to buy the house, but it wasn't a wholesale deal. There was not enough spread there for it to be a wholesale. So he said, hey, I can't do anything with it. You can have it. Just tell me how you did it. So I said, great, I'll do that. So today, that property is a 5-bedroom, 2-bath house. Okay? 5-bedroom, 2-bath house. So the guy, can you hit this with you, please? Somebody hit that one. So the guy, his mortgage payment was $787. At best, he was probably renting it for $900. Let's just say $900. The heating and air went out. So he had to replace that. That cost him $4,500. Then the hot water heater went out. That cost him $1,200. You know, see the picture? It's a black hole for him. It's a black hole. So he wanted out. So when this guy, I don't know how he got him, but he said, hey, look, are you interested in buying my property? So when the investor went over to look at the property, he couldn't see it. He said, you know, it's nothing here for me. I'm not interested. I got another guy that might be interested. So I went over and I took a look at it. And he was paying the house because, you know, the mortgage was current. So I looked at it and he said, I already got it paid it up for you. All you got to do is take it. You know? And I said, well, I don't know. I mean, why should I take it? He said, man, it's in a good neighborhood. It's you know, good market. So I said, well, what do we have to do? What do we have to do? See, one of the things you got to be very mindful. You got to be very mindful. I never said, how much do you want for it? All right? What do we need to do to make this happen? And so he said, well, you're not going to give me what I want for it. I said, well, what do you want for it? He said, well, if I can get $4,500, I'll let it go. He said, I will let it go. I said, $4,500? This is what I should have said. Why so much? So he said $4,500. I said, well, let me ask you a question. What if I give you $2,000 now, and in 30 days I give you $2,500? Would that work for you? He thought for a second. He said, yeah, that'll work. I said, well, great. We'll make it happen. I'll give the attorney a call, let him handle the paperwork. And once he gets the paperwork ready, I'll give you a call. He said, great. So we got a deal. So we did it. We made that deal happen. So I took that property subject to. Mortgage payment $787 a month. And I think I get somewhere around $3,800 a month. Is that a good deal? Yeah. So my point is the deals are out there. And see, I didn't have the market for that deal. That deal found me. I called me and said, hey, look, just tell me how you did it. So what I did, I took the garage. They had a 1-car garage. I turned that 1-car garage into 2 bedrooms. So the floor plan was conducive for me to do that. So it's not like, you know, it chopped up the floor plan. It made the floor plan work. Does everyone follow that? I told June about this idea. And we went up to Mooresville, and June has a house out in the county, and she has a horse farm. It's probably got to And so we came up there, and I was telling June, she said, really? And so she said, it's my house. So June is her her house into a duplex. And so now,
Be careful about that.
okay.
It's not a duplex,
Right.
it has an in-law apart.
She has an in-law, and, and you're about to do something different with it, right? Or,
I'm not sure yet, but I'm interested in
well, my point is this. It's about establishing rapport. It's all about people. It's all about people. And see, that's why I said it took me 20 years to get to this point. Meaning I've been marketing myself for 20 years. How many of you here heard of me before you met me? See, most of you have heard of me before you met me. And that's because I purposely work on that. I try to remember a lot of people's names. That's very important. Very important. When I go to Lowe's, I know practically everybody in Lowe's. Practically everybody in Lowe's. I call them by name. I have his cell phone number. So when they have deals at Lowe's, who do you think they call? If it's something that's in my area, they say, hey, give Jed a call. Okay? How did you find out about me? Through Lowe's. Yeah. I go to Lowe's almost every day. And I know those people. I'm saying this, if you want to get the winning edge, if you want to set yourself apart, market yourself. And market yourself on purpose. Okay? On purpose. Hey, I don't go to work, but when I used to go to Section 8, I would go to Section 8. The thing I wanted to do, I wanted to learn the people's name. So once I learned their name, and I would call them by name, I made a point of calling them and recognizing their voice over the phone. And once I recognized their voice, I said, hey, Myra, how are you? She said, oh, fine, how you doing, Mr. Parker? So then when I would go down to Section 8, you see all the other landlords, property providers, they're waiting in the lobby. I'll go to the door like I'm an employee and it buzz me in. It works. It works, but you got to do it on purpose. I remember being in Maryland, and I had to transfer some money, and they needed my signature. Because when I go to the bank, I deal with the same people all the time. All the time. So they know me. So I'm in Maryland, I had to transfer $10,000, and she said, well, I know it's you, and I can tell from your voice, I'm just going to go and you sign when you get back. See, that's building rapport. That's marketing yourself. Does everyone understand that? Understand the importance. Let me tell you about the second house that I bought. Actually, they didn't buy it. They paid it to me. Young lady, she was out wholesaling. She was out wholesaling, she found a house. So who did she call? She called me. So she said, hey, listen, we got this house. Can you help me to get rid of it? So I was working with her, trying to assist her in getting rid of it. And unfortunately, we weren't able to sell it. So the guy had one of those unique headaches, right? Well, his was close to a migraine because he was in Miami and the property was in Charlotte. Anybody ever heard of code enforcement? Yeah. That's my number one way of finding properties. My number one way of finding properties. You need to write that down. Number one way of finding properties. Why is that? They have code enforcement, but see, some of them are allies. They're working with me. They're calling this guy and say, hey, if you don't fix this property, we're going to assess civil penalties. And they're gonna call him regularly. I don't even have to ask him. They're gonna call him anyway. Right? So when they're calling him, then that headache is moving towards a migraine, yes. So, because I walk around with a pocket full of, yes. So then, when they call me, I say, hey, well, we couldn't sell the property. What are you gonna do? I don't know. I said, well, let me ask you a question. I might be interested in it. He said, really? He's excited. Because finally, he sees some relief coming. So I said, yeah, I might be interested. I said, what can we do? He said, well, I don't know. I said, well, let me ask you this. What if I give you $1,000 a month? He said, that sounds good. Now let me take. He actually loaned an investor $86,000, real money. Real American money. He gave him $86,000. The property was foreclosed on. He took it back as a form of, right. So he got the property back. So now he got it back. So I said, well, how much do you want, what do we need to do? He said, well, if I could get $42,500, I'm like, where did they get that figure from? $42,500, we can make it happen. I said, well, let me ask you this. I said, can we do it for 4 years? He said, no, we can't do it for 4. I said, well, how many years can we do it for? He said, we can do it for 2. I said, okay, that's fine. And 0 interest, right? He said, yeah, that'll work. He said, that'll work. So my payments, how much were they? $1,000. I was paying $1,000 a month. So after my first payment, I owed $40,500. Second payment, $39,500. Does everyone follow that? 0 interest. I was working on the property. I got it fixed up. I paid the property off in 14 months. That property would grow somewhere around $52,000 a year. Okay? But it came from somebody who gave it to me. Does that make sense? It ain't clear yet, is it? It'll be clear. Don't worry about it. So, the point I'm making here is that you have to market you. You got to market you. See, if you want to get an edge on your competition, market you, right? Market you. See, what's the first line of offense when you're getting into this business? How many real estate investors we have here? That should be everybody, all right? But how many of you here don't have a business card? Don't raise your hand. All right? You need to get a business card. The people that had a business card, raise your hand. Okay? Tell me what Jack's card looks like. Can somebody tell me? Okay. All right. All right. Who else had a business card? Sir. Sir. Tell me what Sir card looks like.
All right.
What is this?
It's got a swing on it.
Has what?
Swing.
A swing? Okay. Good. Who else? Tarsh. That's it, right? Tarsh. What did Tarsha card look like? Okay. Good. How about Jennifer? This is Jennifer. I think he's psyched. is this. What did my car look like? Everybody see? My point is this. Anyone ever heard of Neural Association? What? Neural Association. It's a neural association. Say it again. All right. What that is stuff that you know that you didn't know that you know. Okay? It's stuff that you know that you don't know that you're the Flintstones. Pretty much everybody in here should probably sing that song. But we probably haven't looked at it in 20 years. Okay? I went to Atlanta. They had the Georgia Grill, which is the largest real estate investment group in North Carolina, United States. And there was a guy there, a very plain business card. It was black and white. It was white card with black ink, nothing fancy at all. With the exception, he had a hole on the top corner. Right here, he had a hole. Okay? And so I saw him. I said, what's the hole for? And he said the hole is for, he put a rubber band on there and uses it as a door hanger. Okay? Uses a door hanger. But here was the big part. Neural association works like this. If you recognize something, you recognize the hole here. It registers in your subconscious mind. Does everyone follow that? So if it's registering in your subconscious mind, it can be a week, 2 weeks, month. And you see me say, oh, I remember you're the guy that had a hole in your car. Makes sense. See, most of the time when I do things, I do it on purpose. Okay? I do it on purpose. And so to remember you, or more direct, when they have a deal that they can't do anything with, you want them to remember and think about you. Make sense? So when they think about the deal, and you get a call, or when you think about real estate, you think about Jen. Make sense? So this is why I got people bringing me deals. It's done on purpose. See, if you want to eliminate your competition, this is how you eliminate your competition. Is it getting clear there? Yeah. But you got to do it on purpose. Do your business card, you have to put thought, not just a fluorescent, we buy houses. You know, they have a place, but this is not it. Okay? We buy houses. Think about your card. It took me probably 6 years to create that card, and then another 6 months, Camille, to actually develop it and get it back. Camille actually helped me to put that card together. She did a lot of the artwork and stuff like that for me on that card. But it works well. How many of you have seen the card? Not seen it, right? First card you've seen with a hole punched in it, especially with the letter. Okay? And that alone, seeing it, I used to have a card that was made out of parchment paper. And so when people got it, they would pluck it. They would pluck it because of the material. But when they're plucking it, what are they doing? Yeah. Yes.
All the cards that came around, the one that I remember, it said cash now. Yeah, across the top. I don't even know whose name was on it, but I said, that's a good card right there.
All right. So it's key. It's key. You know, work and build and develop your business cards. Develop your business card. Just don't get a simple business card or go to Vistaprint and get the same card that everybody else had. You know, create a good business card. All right. Once you have your business cards, and you're collecting business cards, what are you doing with them? You got boxes. I bet you guys have boxes at home with rubber bands around them. You know? I have shoe boxes of cards I've collected over the time. Now, I've created databases with them, but I've created cards. Here's something I want to suggest that you can do with them. When you're collecting cards, when you collect a card, if you exchange cards tonight here, send that person a text message. Good morning. Hey, it was good meeting you. It was good meeting you. And then maybe periodically say, hey, how's it going? Just think about you, you know, good luck in business or something. How many of you are doing that? You know, this is another way. This is what you out there, and people start remembering you. If you want to eliminate the competition, this is how you do it. See, this is before we had internet. This is before we had the social media pieces and stuff like that. NASA now know how to turn the computer on. NASA would always kid me because he would imply that I didn't. I could turn it on, I just couldn't work it. You know? So utilizing some of these techniques and learning people's names and, you know, what's the sweetest thing to someone? Is their name. Is their name. And so when you say their name, I remember going to the Outback, I go to Outback a lot. I know Angel there. Angel is the store proprietor manager there. And so I went in there and was talking to Angel, and you know, Angel's my friend. And so she came and we were sitting there, we were eating, and at the end of the day, I was waiting for her to check her about it. Angel said it's okay, it's on her. But those are some of the things, some of the perks for learning people's name, making them feel special. Okay? Doing it on purpose. But not only that, when you're working with people, when you're out there doing deals, you know, remember those people's names. Remember little things about them. And see, when you're doing your presentation, one of the things that I tell folks, you must first establish rapport. You must first establish rapport. You look at something, some art, or whatever the case might be, have a conversation about that. Does everyone follow that? See, because once you have a conversation about it, now you have a common interest. And once you have a common interest, then you're no longer dealing with their friend, or with a stranger. They're dealing with their friend. Does everyone follow that? Yeah. JJ and I, where's JJ? I saw him earlier. JJ and I did a deal, or we were doing a deal, over in Highland Creek. And it's a, 3,500 square feet, 3,600 square feet house. And the family was a large family. I think they had 5 or 6 kids or something like that. Maybe more than that.
I think it was like 6.
How many? 6? And so we went in, you know, when I go in, I'm looking for that one thing that we can talk about. And so I saw the kid, he had a lacrosse stick over there in the corner. And, you know, I said, oh, you play lacrosse? He said, yeah. I said, really? I said, I do too. I used to play lacrosse. I was a defensive. What position do you play? Oh, I'm a midi. So it was something that we could talk about. And so as we were talking about it, no longer were we strangers. No longer were we 2 guys who just walked in the house. We had a common interest. So it's important to establish rapport. Not, you know, when you're marketing or selling something, but Just when you're going into the store, find out who that person is. Usually they have a name tag on. Funniest thing happened the other day, we were running. We were running 5:30 in the morning. We were running, and there's a lady, she had just got off work. And so she was standing there waiting for her ride to come, and as we were running by, I saw her name. It said Yvette. I said, hey, Yvette. How do you know my name? I said, it's on your name. So we saw Yvette this morning. Every time I see her, I said, hey, Yvette. This morning I said, hey, and she waited on her, she said, hey. So now, when I see Yvette somewhere, and she's with her friends, I'm not gonna be a stranger to her. Oh, that's the guy, hey, how you doing? They said, but you got to do it on purpose. On purpose. That's if you want to win. You know, these are the things that you're going to need to do. That's if you want to try to eliminate your competition. These are the things that assist you in eliminating your competition. Okay? See, I'm always thinking. Remember I told you this business is about thinking. It's not about how much money you have. It's about thinking. I could beat the hedge funds every day of the week at the courthouse. And they may have slightly little more money than us. But because they're one-dimensional in their thinking. See, this is. So if I get the deed on that property, it doesn't matter how much money he has at the courthouse. Does everyone follow that? He can have $100 trillion, but if I had the deed is the big joker. I control that property. So he has to come by the way of me to get that property if he's interested. Does everyone follow that? It's all about thinking. It's all about thinking. Now, Nasa, you did some door knocking or something.
Yes.
Did you? How much money did you make?
$52,000.
How much?
$52,000.
$52,000, real American money. $52,000. That's amazing, isn't it? That was from him calling me and asking me, what can I do? And so I told him, I said, well, why don't you go knock some doors? Well, what should I do? Do it like this. What should I look for? Look for this. And he did it. Now times 30 doors.
About 30 doors in Charlotte.
30 doors, and he made $52,000. Is that a good deal? Give him a hand. And he gave me the iPad. iPad.
He went on vacation.
Yeah. But I'm saying, you know, it's about, this business is about gaining the edge and thinking. And so I'm suggesting to you, when doing this business, think about what you're doing. This is why I say I just do owner financing subject to lease option. Because, watch, not if, but when the market changes. Y'all think the market's gonna change? Yes. Not if, but when it changes, the market is gonna change. The market is going to change. Now, y'all probably think I'm psychic. I just can't tell you when, but it's going to. Okay? When it changes, those of you that are predicated on borrowing money, it's not going to be here. There's not going to be any money. So you're not going to be able to borrow money. The hedge fund's going to dry up. When that happens, this room will be empty. Because nobody wants to pay. See, money stops you from thinking. If I have to think about, if I have unlimited source of money, I don't have to think about how I'm going to get this property. I'm just going to go pay money for it, right? But if you don't have access to that, then that forces you to have to think. And so that's an unnatural thing, because people don't like to think. They want it easy. So then they just eliminate themselves. People say, hey, well, look, we're what's the best way for me to find property? Where did I tell y'all my number one place? Code enforcement. It's online. It's free. You can get the list. Most of you are not going to go there and get it, but code enforcement. My second is in tax foreclosure. Tax foreclosure. That list is free. You can go and get it, right? And see, I got allies that work at the tax office too. They're calling people up. They're sending them letters. They're going and putting letters on the house saying we're going to foreclose, we're going to garnish your wages. They just don't look at my allies. See, they're applying the pressure. They're creating the migraine. Does everyone follow that? Yeah, they create the migraine. From that, that's where I got, I think Camille was doing some mail, we were working together, and we were doing the tax foreclosure. And we got the lead, the people called and said, hey, got your card, and I'll show you the card in a few minutes. This is a card that I've used for a really long time. It's nothing special, but it's just a card that I use. And so, lady said, yeah, I got a property. I said, well, where's the property? She said, it's at this address. I said, okay, well, I'm going to look at it. I wasn't really motivated, you know. I said, okay, I'm going to look at it. So, a day or so, I did go look at it. So about a week or so later, she called me back. And she said, hey, I called you about a week or so ago about a property. And did you go look at it? I said, oh, yeah, I did go look at it. Well, I was waiting to hear back from you. I said, well, you know, I'm not busy. She said, well, I wanted to give you a courtesy call because I'm getting letters from other people. Now who's motivated? So I said, well, not a problem. I went to look at it. I said, well, what do we need to do? And she said this, just like this. She said, well, we don't need to get any money. I said, boy, you called the right person. So the point I'm making here, how many of you would have said, how much do you want? And if you ask somebody enough, how much do you want, they will tell you how much they want. So she said, we don't want any money. I said, well, what do you want? I said, plants, flowers or something? She said, no. I said, well, what do you like? She said, well, he likes Coke soda and Reese's Pieces. So I bought the house for 2 cases of Coke soda and 2 pounds of Reese's Pieces. It was what they wanted. Who am I to offer anything different? It was what they wanted. Does that make sense? Does everyone follow that? See, you got an ASK to GET. I'll wait. See, because most of you are telling. And what do they say about telling? Telling isn't selling. Telling isn't selling. You have to ask. You have to ask. Is everyone follow that? And so I did that with this. This is the card that I used. Where are they? Okay. This is I use this card for everything. Pass around. It says, we buy houses. And then it says something about, we're only interested in a property if it has $10,000 worth of damage. Why do I do that? Yeah, see, because they're going to disclose to me how motivated they are, but they're also discrediting their property. So when I get there, they can't tell me how great of a property they have. So when they call me on the phone, and they say, yeah, I got your card. I say, okay, great, tell me about the house. Oh, well, it's this, or whatever it says. Does it meet our repair requirement? They said, repair requirement? I said, yeah, on the card it said, must have $10,000 worth of damage. She said, oh, yeah, you got more than that. So now it has more than that. When I get there, they can't tell me how great a property they have. Does that make sense? They can't say, oh, it's a great property, right? Because we've taken it away from them, or she took it away from herself. Makes sense. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So again, you have to be thinking. You have to constantly be thinking. So the card works for me. It just makes it happen for me. It says houses that are tore up from the floor up. Tore up from the floor up. But you don't want to do the same old thing that everybody else is doing. You want to be a little different. This is this card. Tell me what we're doing. Who am I marketing this to? People that are stressed. Under pressure.
They got headaches.
Oh, they got headaches. Oh, they got headaches. It says we buy, what's it? We buy furniture, tools, and all that. Huh?
States.
The state sales, they say. What else? That's who I send to foreclosure. People that are in foreclosure. See, you're sending stuff that says, we stop foreclosure, we buy foreclosure. And when you go to their house, they have a pile of letters. A pile of letters. Different types of letters, yellow letters. And all that. And so, I'm sending stuff that says, we buy tools, we buy furniture, we buy boats, and stuff like this. So when they see it, they say, well, to sell, or this car to sell, or whatever it is to sell. So they're going to call me. And when they call me, what are they calling me for? For what they have to sell. But when I had sent it out, I only sent it out to people that were in foreclosure. Right? So when I get there, I'm like, why are you selling this boat? They said, oh, we're getting rid of it, we're going to get rid of the house. I said, really? We buy houses too. Again, you always have to be thinking. You always have to be thinking. So that's a way that because you're calling me for what they have to sell. See, they think everybody in the neighborhood got that. They have no clue that they've been solely selected. All right? Make sense? Another one that I use, and these are just different ways of marketing. Different ways of marketing. Another one I use is foreclosure people only. I send them a manila envelope with a cease contact, or what collection agencies can't do. And then I send them a cease contact letter included in there. Then I have an order form for the 15 surefire ways to stop foreclosures. Comes with a free in-home consultation. Makes sense? Free in-home consultation. And I charge them $24.99 for that. See, because if I give it to them, there's no perceived value. So in the order form, it says $24.99. So they'll send me the check or money order for $24.99, and I'll send it to the surefire ways of stopping foreclosure. So some of the people won't call me for the consultation. It wasn't for them. It was for the ones that do. Does everyone follow that? And so the ones that pay for my postage. Okay? So you gotta be thinking about this. Now this is one. These here. This is from NASA. He doesn't even know it. You doing my stuff, man? I'm asking what I want. Asking for exactly what I want. I only want properties where you're not, properties that you're not interested in. don't want anything that you want to keep. The ones that's a headache. And notice, I didn't say I want to buy it. Make sense? Yeah. Didn't say I want to buy it. Only properties you're not interested in. Now, I'm encouraging you to use any of this content that you see, because what this does is make me want to think. It creates a challenge for me to think. I have to think of something else. I got to create a better mousetrap. That's just how I'm wired. How can I gain the advantage? Because I have to think. Does that make sense? So by giving this information to you, it doesn't matter. Some of you won't, most of you won't. But it makes me think. I was telling, I came up with a good one the other day where it's foreclosure. How many of you knocking doors? A couple of you knocking doors. I came up with this thing where it's a piece of tape, and on the tape it says caution, and it says we need to get in touch with you or something to that effect, and you just stick it on the door. They're gonna call, good, bad, or indifferent. But you know, hopefully they're calling because they're curious as to what's going on, and we're suggesting that we can help you. We can help you with your situation. Please give us a call. We'd love to hear from you. But of course, time is limited. You know, actually, most stuff that I put on my cards, it should expire on the 30th of every month. I'll wait, yeah. Just start thinking about some of the stuff that you're putting out there and use it to your benefit, and it'll work. Most things that I do, I put a lot of thought into it, and most of it's coming from a psychological standpoint. And one of the things is when we're going to houses, you got to know what you're going to say. You can't just wing it. And so when I go to people's houses, and you can write this down. Once I establish rapport, then I assume the close. And this is going to be one of the key things that's going to separate me from you. I assume the close. So I say, sir, let me ask you a question. Which day next week is good for you to close? Would Tuesday or Thursday be better for you? And at that point, he's going to tell me which day is good for him to close. Okay? So now I said, okay, fine, great. Let me ask you a question. See, you're always asking questions. See, he who asks the questions has the power. Always asking questions. So I said, well, let me ask you a question. How do you like your check written? Is it in your name, company name, your wife's name? How do you like to see your check? Okay, all right. Is that in your name, your wife's name, company name? How would you like it? Your name, okay, great. See, what I'm doing there, I want them to psychologically see the money. I want them to see the money. Does everyone follow that? So next Tuesday or Thursday, we're going to close. Which day is better for you? Thursday is better. Now, one of the things that you must understand here, never have I asked them how much for the property. On purpose. On purpose. Haven't asked them how much for the property. Okay? So therefore, we're gonna, I said, well, show me the property. Take me around, show me the property. And he's gonna gladly, because he's thinking about what? Thursday of next week. Because Thursday next week is payday. Right? So in his mind, well, I can't wait till Thursday. He's spending the money. He's seeing the money, right? He's gonna go on this vacation that he's planning. And he's thinking about it. And so when we get in the house, and see, this is what most of you do. Most of you said, oh, this plumbing, is that galvanized pipe? Oh, that's galvanized pipe. Oh, is that rotted wood? Oh, and so he's now like, what's this guy, come on? It's becoming adversarial. You know, I told you they had $10,000 worth of damage, you know, right? So you play on that. But you're doing it a little differently. See, you may have a water spot in the ceiling. You don't say anything. You just look at it. You get a better perspective. And you look at it and you have him looking at you while you and before long, he's gonna say, oh, that's been fixed. Well, they'll start thinking it, right? What is it? Brother Wall. Oh, brother can tell it's smooth. Or until he says something. He said, oh no, that's been fixed, or that was such and such, or whatever. But psychologically, in his mind, what's going on with the price? The price is dropping. I've not asked anything about price yet. On how it was set up. All on how it was set up. Does that make sense? Okay, so stop beating the properties up. I had one lady that went to her house, and the house was under code enforcement. I knew it because that was the only list that I mailed. And so got there, I said, well, are there any city code or something, or what do they call it? Or is there any write-ups or anything like that? Anybody ever watch Columbo? You know? And so she said, no, there's no write-ups or anything like that. So I asked her to show me the house. So she shows me the house and went through the booking and found it like that. It got so bad, she started running. I ain't even want in the room with him. She didn't even want to be in the same room with me. And so, got to the end, she had a back porch that was, I don't know if a tree or something had fallen on it. And so I was looking at it, I didn't see anything, looked at it. But I figured that was probably the concern for the code enforcement. There's some kind of issue. So I said, okay, well, you know, where do we need to be? And so she told me where we needed to be, which was good. Because I think wherever she told me we needed to be, I think it was maybe $18,000 on that transaction. And so I said, well, okay, let me see if I can get it approved. So I made a phone call right there, you know, and I had the price that I was going to offer her, which was far less than what she had stated. And then I'm on the phone with my friend, and I say, well, this is what you want to do, but, you know. And I said, oh, he said, we can't do that. No, I got to do that. But anyway, we agreed what she said, but I couldn't just give it to her. You understand that? Because if I had just given it to her, what would I have said? She's like, dang, I could probably got more, right? So I had to make her work for it. And so having her work for it made her feel like, I got them, right? But that's where we wanted to be. That's where we wanted to be. So we still had an issue that we hadn't talked about. So I sold it to Renata. Y'all know Renata. I sold it to Renata and Renata's friend. And so they called me and said, okay, everything is ready to go. Can we close this day? So I said, that's fine. Let me call the seller and it's fine. So I called the seller. I said, hello, I got some good news for you. I'm always calling for good news. I got some good news for you. I said, really? So we got this thing set up to close on Wednesday. Is that good for you? She said, yeah. I said, but there's one problem. Right? The attorney said that he found something about a code violation or something. She said, really? She said, oh, this is nothing. She said, it was only $8,000 they solved. I said, $8,000? I said, well, I need to go back and see if I can get this approved. So I called her back. I said, well, listen, think it's not gonna be a problem. I think we can buy $1,000. She said, $5,000? $5. She said, okay. So we solved it for $5,000. So that means I got $5,000 more. Does that make sense? So I made about $23,000 on that transaction. All of this. So you have to think. You gotta start thinking. This is a thinking thing. Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
How did you find out that she had a code violation from the association?
Yeah, not the association. That was from the code violation list.
From this, from the county.
Right. The county they put out a list. And it's free. You can go there and it's charnet.org. And then on the top it has department, click on department, and then on the right left side, it'll say city code violation, city code list or something, housing code. Click on that, and then that'll take you to the middle, it says view code files or something like that. And click on it and then it'll come up.
So do you check that every time?
Not really. No. No. See, because the property that Lee gave me, one of my allies had actually contacted her and said, you have a $10,000 civil penalty bill. And so she didn't tell me that. Her motivating factor for wanting to get rid of the house. $50. It was a problem. It was a burden for her. So she said, I just want to get rid of it. I don't want any money. I just want it to go away. Because she had a severe migraine. Make sense? So I learned about the code violation after I purchased it. And then I made the corrections. He said, well, if you fix it in 30 days, it'll go away. So I didn't have to pay $10,000.
So is there any way that when the associations, because there's so many communities that are associated related, place a violation on a home versus a county or whatever places a violation on a home? Is there anywhere to go to find that information?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then, what is it, the website? No, it's a Facebook page. We have a Facebook page. It's called the JPN Inner Circle. And every day, that list comes to that Facebook page.
Okay. What are you gonna do to get on that?
I don't know. We haven't really decided what we're gonna do. It was actually made for people that took the workshop, the 2 workshops. Is anyone using it then? Have you been there?
The Facebook page?
Yeah.
Yeah, every day.
Yeah, the list comes up there every day, and what you're asking about are HOA foreclosures. And the HOA foreclosures, it's, if you get the list, it doesn't have any amount there, and that's an indication that that's an HOA foreclosure.
No.
The mortgage amount. If the mortgage amount is in there, then that's an HOA foreclosure.
Do we have to take one classes to get to that?
No, we just haven't decided what it's gonna, what you're gonna have to do to get to it. Maybe come to the Rising Rhyme. But we also, it's gonna be I think Nas said something about the absentee list. The absentee list should be there in another week or so. Also, I'm going to put on there the code violation list is going to be there. Also, you'll find the tax foreclosure list will be there. So all those lists are right there. You can get them all right there.
Right, I listened to your conversation.
Oh, you were on there?
The other day, yes.
Okay.
Attended one of your seminars, so I'm not on your special list.
We're going to have to see what we got to do to get you on that special list. But, I mean, we're going to go, since you mentioned workshop, I'm going to be doing another one, I think. What is it? October 15th. October 15th. Yeah, and it's going to be different. It's not going to be the foreclosure one. We probably will do the foreclosure until next year, but we'll get something so you can. Barbara, is it? She's there. I'll let you know, and you can go in there. Who else has another question? No other question?
I have a question, Jay.
Yes.
I texted you that question.
Oh,
Yeah, that's it.
Can a judgment, leave on the foreclosure on a property?
Can a judgment Millie's gonna be, want to know this question, and she's over there holding conversation. Stand in the corner. The question was, can a judgment, person that has a judgment, can they foreclose on the property? Absolutely. You can foreclose on the property. Now, what happens is, it's called written execution. And so with that, there's a procedure that you do. You have to first go to court and sue and get a judgment. Once you get a judgment, you have to perfect it. And so then you get a declaration to declare exemption. A declaration to declare exemption is setting that person, the debtor, you set it up so they say, well, you can't come after this, the exemption. Fill it out. So when they don't fill it out, then there's a default judgment. So then that property can go to sale. And that's when they have the sheriff sale. You ever see those? That's when it becomes a sheriff sale. The sheriff comes out and starts seizing assets that they have, whether it's a car, whether it's their home, whether it's their boat, anything of value to get the money to actually pay off that credit. And so, to answer the question, yes. I don't know if that answered your question. It did? Yeah. So you can also follow those. You can follow judgments or sheriff sales. Anybody doing that? Yes.
Sorry, pleasure to meet you. My name is Sean. And I'm closing on the property pretty soon, and I just wanted to get a question about. I was going to keep it holding. However, I was kind of a little questionable about a clean title coming back. Should I need it to be insured, or should I just take it on face value?
How are you buying it?
Cash.
Okay, you're paying cash.
Definitely insured.
Well, but also, you're closing, going through a regular closing.
Well, we're going through a closing term, but I was seeing a little ripple effect last week. Now, the closing date hadn't changed. However, I was approached by family members with, we're getting money for whatever kind of situation. So I just wanted to make sure that with this lawyer, I was wanting to kind of make sure that I needed to be insured or just saying face value to all.
Yeah, I would get title insurance. However, attorneys are supposed to convey the title unless the title work indicates otherwise. So when you do a title search and you're buying a property, you should take the property in a warranty deed. Okay, take the property in a warranty deed. And the attorney is warranting the title. If he does that, if he says no title work rendered, then he's off the hook. So that's why you see a lot of second mortgages. You don't see many lenders foreclosing on second mortgages. Because if they foreclose and become the owner, then they got to pay off the big first to give them a clear title. And they're not going to do that. So, does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, so the reason we're doing that here is because he's paying cash versus earlier, we were kind of assuming something too, so you didn't worry about it.
Again, what I do with Sean, I don't want to tell Sean, not to.
I understand.
I want to tell you what the practical thing to do. Now, you might hear me say, well, I did it like this or whatever, but I'm taking a calculated risk. That makes sense.
So I was hypothetically, at closing, if it doesn't say warranty deed, I can walk away.
Yeah. Like if it says quit claim, it's warranting nothing.
Quick claim, get out of there.
Can he find this out before closing? Oh, yeah.
Well, that's the thing about it. I think the lawyer is still
So, you know, it's almost like I won't hear from him probably within about 24 hours before closing, so I want to make sure that when we get to closing on that date, that it physically does have some type of insurance, some type of warranty, or, you know, and honestly, all of these terms are new to me, so I'm definitely.
Where you bought this property from?
He's actually a wholesaler.
NASA?
Get everything checked out.
And he may get a room out.
But the reason for asking that, if you're, then you can select your own attorney.
Well, I mean, keep in mind, this is my second trial. The first one I did with the community attorney in Concord. However, I'm doing another one in Gastonia, but I really don't have any attorneys down there, so I kind of got to do it.
But the buyer actually selects the attorney. Okay, you can't. You know, you might get strong armed by some wholesaler and say, oh, you gotta use this guy. You know, but if you're the buyer, then you can select your attorney. Yes. Does that help?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Yes, Jim.
I want to, your agreement to purchase will state in it what kind of deeds you're supposed to be getting. So if you sign the contract to buy, then it says quit claim deed, you're stuck, you can't walk out.
Well, it doesn't say quit claim, but it does, you know, with the earnest money. And now on the contract, it says earnest money, however, if it doesn't have a clear title, I'm able to walk out and get my earnest money.
Right. Yeah.
So that's a good point that Joe's making. In your contract, it should say some marketable title or something of that sort in all of your contract. If it doesn't, put it in there. You know, something about a marketable title.
Well, you say you want a warranty deed, a North Carolina general warranty deed, just put that in there.
So basically, that would be my call tomorrow.
Yeah, but I did want to say this, anything you're buying at foreclosure, that you do not get a warranty deed.
And so it's not a foreclosure.
It's a special deed, they make no warranty to title, but for those, always get title insurance.
A special warranty deed is only warranting the property from the time I own it. So if I just got deed yesterday, I'm warranting it from the time I own it to you. So I'm not warranting. Warranty deed, a general warranty deed goes back to inception.
Just to make it a little simpler, but if you talk to the paralegal tomorrow, I'm going to talk to the paralegal while you're trying. If you need to tell the paralegal, just say, hey, just make sure that this has insurance.
Okay.
Are you buying it as a corporate or trust, some other form of business?
It's an individual.
Yeah, so you get 3 days period to review it before you have to sign the close.
That's on the refi, I think.
No, on the person as well.
But I thought it wasn't applicable if it was an investment property. If it's residential and it's homeowner.
If he's a person, it's still subject to, generally speaking, it's still subject to residence, so he gets 3 days.
Okay. The attorneys is spoken.
Criminal defense.
All right. Do we have any other questions? Any other questions? All right, I want to thank you guys for coming out. Hopefully I've answered, helped you out some. Really appreciate you guys coming out. Ms. Walker, I've known Ms. Walker for a long time. And glad to see she came out here. And again, you know, you follow us on Facebook, the J. Parker Network, and 5:30 in the morning. Oh, she had problems with that? Hold up. If you have problems with that, at 4:45, we can call you. It's real. We're serious. You know, and see, you know, you guys laugh about it. You laugh about it. But it's really serious. It's about mental fitness. It's definitely about mental fitness. And see, we started getting up at 6 o'clock. And if you're gonna change something, you know, it's gotta be something that's gonna make you stretch. Okay? And so getting up at 5:30 at that time and getting out at 6 was a stretch. And so I said, well, let's call everybody. And so we started calling each other. But now it happens automatic. You know, at 3 o'clock, 3:30, I'm awake. So, you know, after we like say 21 days, it becomes a habit. And it's real. But see, when we're out here running, and we're running up those hills, it gets tough. And then you got somebody out there saying, come on, you can do it. You can do it, don't quit. You can do it. You're dealing with that deal. You know? And you can't seem to find the answer. And if you're mentally fit, you can keep it going. You know, let me try this. See, you gotta, when you approach these deals and there's a problem, you can't give up. You gotta keep it going. Let me see what I can do. This. First thing, you gotta understand that the answer is there. It's out there. You just have to find it. But see, if you close your mind to it and saying, I can't do it, it's all over. The brain has nothing to do. It goes back into relax mode. But if you say, how can I make now the brain is doing what it's designed to do, go out there looking for an answer. What about this? No, that ain't gonna work. What about this? It'll keep coming with these different situations going, is this the answer? So that's what this rise and grind is all about. See, if your health is poor and you got $100 trillion, it does you no good. See, it's not because, we don't do it because it's convenient. We do it because it's necessary. Because it's necessary.
Can you do it in Warrensville?
If you do one up in Warrensville on a Saturday, we'll come up there. How about that?
Okay.
We'll come up there and we'll work out. Is that fair?
Yeah, that's
right. So now, let me see a show of hands. Show of hands. Who's coming out tomorrow? Who wants it? How bad do you want it? Okay, see, hold up. We do this no matter what. We do it in the rain. It doesn't matter. Alright? Dave came out there. One time he was on vacation, now he's back, so assuming he'll be there. It's been fun, y'all. Thank you. Have a good night.